Hi, I'm Brian Kellerman, the Chief Quality and Safety Officer at Kellerman Consulting, and you are watching our video series on ISO 9001 and quality management systems in any operation. In this series, we have discussed what makes up a quality management system and quality control functions, as well as quality assurance functions, and pointed towards how these all relate to ISO 9001. In this episode, we are going to focus on the specific verification concepts within operations that are used in complex quality management systems, namely critical quality metrics and key performance indicators used to monitor processes and verify the effectiveness of the quality management system. In order to properly tie these two types of quality assessments to the ideas of QA and QC, we will be examining quality metrics and key performance indicators through the lens of quality assurance and/or quality control. First, we are going to start by defining what a critical quality metric is within a quality management system and which employees should be evaluating these. As we think about quality as the conforming end products or services, we should be able to identify the specific process steps or conditions by which we have achieved that quality. For an automotive engine part, that may be the correct diameter or thickness to fit a specified engine of our customer. For an IT security company, this may be the correct coding to protect backdoor access of a website against a newly identified virus or hacking threat. In both of these examples, the metric would be the conforming quality of the product or service to meet its designed function. We can also use accuracy to an order fulfillment, such as fill levels of liquids in bottles, weight of product to match a label quantity, speed of a scheduled delivery, or the presence of correct components of a produced unit within its packaging. In all of these examples, we have measurable aspects that can be checked by a quality associate or lead in real time to confirm that the system is in place to result to the quality that we expect. Concepts like first pass quality, also sometimes called first pass yield, place an emphasis on this monitoring through documented checks of quality control metrics as part of the completion of operation. This first pass yield metric measures the percentage of products that are made correctly the first time. With this definition of a critical quality metric, we would most closely associate this measurement with quality control in operations. The reason for this is that with the assessment of a critical quality metric, operations must be observed to be following established processes and programs in real time, and an error at one of these points would result in a failure of the product or service to conform to quality standards. Quality management systems and ISO 9001 programs follow the plan, do, check, act cycle to continuously improve all processes and procedures. The check of a critical quality metric is performed in real time during the operation and signed off by the person responsible for the quality check before it proceeds to the next step, as we would expect for a QC personnel action. At Kellerman Consulting, our critical quality metric is the presence of the correct documents to match our contracts and projects with our clients. We also have a critical metric of scheduling and showing up for our implementation meetings with clients once the documents have been delivered. The quality checks for these metrics are achieved when management reviews project documentation and the status updates from the consultants on where implementation has progressed to. We expect all of our projects to be completed successfully when the correct documents are provided to our clients and when we have facilitated the necessary follow-up meetings and updates to the documents prior to a scheduled audit or customer request. Now that we've defined the critical quality metric, we need to discuss how the check is performed and the frequency of checks. Because we are defining the critical quality metric as one or more actions that must be made accurately during operations, resulting in the conforming product or service, the check must be performed prior to completion or release. A common question we get from our clients is, how many checks are we supposed to do? The frequency and number of checks is determined by the quality team in your organization, and this is based on risk, the type of check being performed, and it's influenced by your run size and a variety of other factors unique to each type of operation. If you aren't sure how many checks to do, then this can best be decided by collaboration with your team. A paper or electronic form should be in place that defines the critical quality metric, the correct specification for the metric being checked, and the results of the check. Additionally, the personnel conducting the check must understand how the check is representative of the larger operation. By this, we mean that if we are checking the first product on the line, product every 30 minutes, and the last product on the line for a production run, a failure would result in the holding of product to the last good check, and that may mean only a small portion of the larger product. In addition to that information, we also need to indicate on the form who the person performing the check is, and this is most likely a QC personnel, as well as the date and time of the check, and any actions taken if and when the check has failed. Because it is impractical to check every product on a line or review every service event, it is important that the recorded forms provide sufficient data so that the quality control group and top management are able to get a complete picture of the effectiveness of operations based on the frequency of the checks and information recorded. The frequency of checks may be changed after a careful reevaluation of the program. Process improvements may lead to a reduced frequency of checks, and on the other hand, increased issues identified in the process may lead to increased checks. Key performance indicators, or KPIs, are similar to critical quality metrics in that they are recorded data used to determine if operations are functioning correctly. However, unlike the critical quality metrics that we have discussed, key performance indicators are higher-level checks of the quality management system that are focused not necessarily on the specific checks on the line, but rather overall outcomes of the system. Where our quality control checks of critical metrics prove operations are working correctly during operations, the key performance indicators should focus on the larger collection of data that prove the overall system works. A key performance indicator might be an average or mean result of quality checks, the percentage of conforming products or services, the number of errors each week, or some other measurement that we can examine at a high level that replaces reviewing each quality control check performed during operations. When setting a key performance indicator, leadership should identify the aspects of operation that cannot or should not ever be out of conformance. Key performance can also be drivers of improvement and business goals. These are areas of the business where an error would result in a catastrophic outcome for a business. So we should be thinking of failure of a service technician to arrive for a contracted project, or making the wrong product for a purchase order. Where a deviation occurs for a key performance indicator, this should correspond with an all-hands-on-deck emergency and reevaluation of all parts of the operation that led to a failure of the key performance metric. And since key performance indicator reviews are higher-level evaluations and should have some sophistication in trending analysis, where we previously assigned quality control checks to operators or QC personnel, key performance indicators of the system should be controlled by individuals capable of compiling data, analyzing that data, and presenting that data to top management. And this is typically a quality assurance manager or another member of top management. We generally don't need to present every quality check to top management, and it would cause frustration and be an inefficient use of operations and management's time to do so. Similarly, we do not need to evaluate key performance indicators on a daily or even weekly basis when operations are set up and running correctly. Instead, we should have either monthly or quarterly reviews of these metrics that allow top management, key decision makers, and this includes quality assurance and quality control personnel, to understand the direction of the organization. Included in this are potential changes needed to improve deficiencies found within the quality management system and upcoming events that may result in changes to key performance indicators themselves, or where we are going to change the metrics for existing key performance indicators. As an example, the ability to set a KPI may be impacted if the new equipment is purchased, a new service offering is added, a new process or product is introduced or changed, or the organizational structure changes where operations, quality control, or quality assurance is affected. Lastly, in addition to monthly or quarterly review of KPIs, any failure of one or more KPIs should result in an immediate meeting. Since we mentioned that failure to meet the goals of a set KPI is a significant non-conforming event within the organization, it may result in a reevaluation of the quality management system itself. The metric we use to evaluate the system, the organizational structure, and how checks are performed. In such a situation, the emergency meeting to discuss the nonconformance should not be considered as a replacement for regularly scheduled quality assurance and top management review of key performance indicators, and those should carry on in addition to the emergency meetings. So when we combine quality control checks with the quality assurance programs and the key performance indicators, we have the actions of a fully functioning quality management system. And when we examine the combined critical quality metric checks for QC and the key performance indicators for the program, we should see that we are checking the main pressure points of our quality management system, even as this does not require that we are examining all of the documents and forms used to manage operations. In our next episode, we are going to look at training for the quality management system and trainings for quality control and quality assurance. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please visit our website at kellermanconsulting.com or follow us on LinkedIn or YouTube.